Hello everyone, welcome again to Design Underground. I'm Rob, Design Eponymous Irving. This is episode 21 of Design Underground. In case you haven't been here before, we used our Underground series as a way to introduce people to some of the more, shall we say, technical aspects of developing a game. We're not just talking about our game, we're talking about how we make our game. So today's episode, we're going to go to part 2 of map building. We're going to put a few frills in our map from last episode. One other note, if you have any questions from any of these tutorials, feel free to drop by our forums. There is always a Design Underground feedback thread open for each episode. Get on there if you have any questions. It gives us something that we can address the next episode, so I don't have to think so hard. So let's get right back into it. We are back on our map from last week. I've already loaded everything up. And you will notice that the map has grown a little from last time, because I actually grew it out to do some testing. I think that what we want to do today is we're going to start by adding some little frills to our map. For instance, let's get a column. So I need to go back to our environment folder and go to Descendent, company, game, one or the other. And then we have somewhere in here, because I can expand a folder, DES white box. Here we are again. Now, none of these pieces have been released as of yet in the wild, but all of this will eventually be packaged up and put somewhere so that you out there can build maps just like this. Well, hopefully better than this, but you know what I mean. So we are back in our Descent white box folder, and we are looking at the meshes, which is our set of pieces to build the map with. You'll notice that right now I'm having a little trouble reading this screen, so all of these windows are resizable in any direction, so if you need a little more real estate, just move them around to your heart's content. You will sacrifice some of your viewing area, but it's not going to hurt us too badly. All right, we are looking for a pillar right now. Let's add a pillar to our map. There you go, a 20 by 10 pillar. Boom. Slap it in there. Okay, no, it's a 20 by 20 pillar. That might be too big. We'll try it anyway. And now we can use the resize tool, again that's the R key, and stretch it in the Z direction. And our stretch is right now snapped to a quarter, which probably is perfect for this one. There we go, that's the right size. Now, you'll notice that adding the pillar, and we can now use the W to get back to our move tool, use our Alt and drag to make another pillar. Let's make sure it's not on top of our spawn point, which it currently is. Move it down to this end of the room. All right. Still have my grid snap set up at 500, perfect for building descent levels. That is half of a 10 meter square. And you'll notice that this looks a little bland. One of the things we like to do with our maps when we're white boxing / gray boxing, and the difference is vague and often indeterminate, is put a material on the wall so that when you're flying around you don't get the boring reflective. So let's go look at our materials. I'm going to steal a material from one of our other maps. There's our Mobius materials. All right, so we want to put something on the wall. Let's look for concrete, because concrete is a pretty good tiling texture. Now you can take any material, and we use the naming convention M_ for a material, and in this case the MB is because it's in Mobius, and let's look at this concrete tile. And you can just drag it onto any surface and we'll put it on there. Obviously that's not the one I want. Room concrete. Let's do the red stripe. There we go. So that can tile very nicely. Now you could do, let's see now. I want to select all actors that have this material. And I have lost my menu. Select, there we go. Select all the same material. That's nice and quick. And then what we do is we look over here and we say, we're going to use that everywhere. Super quick. Now that doesn't look that great on those half tiles, so let's use a plain concrete on these. Takes a second for it to compile the textures. Or not. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Ha. All right. So that's a long process, so I'm not going to show you all of them. But the simple answer is that you can get all of the materials that are using this, all of the objects that are using this wall material, and quickly replace all of the materials on them, so that you get a nice, pretty map really quickly. Well, this case it's not very pretty, but it will be pretty eventually, I promise you. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a door to this room, because, well, you can't get out right now. Everything is spare. All right, you'll notice that there is a small, this is our hallway, our square hallway, and it's got a door frame. So we're going to bring that into our map and get it moved into place. Again, the grid snap's very helpful. E to do the rotate so we can get it facing the right direction. There we go. We need to move it a little bit more. W to move. Whoops, wrong move. And this might be a good time to use one of our orthogonal views, or our 2D views here. F to focus on the object that's selected, which I just lost, so let's do that again. Door, 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 door. Where is my door? There is my door. All right, so we can nudge it with the arrow keys to get it lined up with the grid. And we'll use our top-down view to make sure it's lined up here. And I lost my door again. F on the door. There we go. That looks like it's all lined up in every direction. So let's go back to our gameplay view here and make sure it looks good. All right, we can go back to this view. So we now have a door frame. We don't have a door in it. Now you'll notice in here that there is a door object. And this is this one. No, it's not in here. Where did it go? No. Make another note. Note to Morlan. This is bad. Okay.
I'm fixing it. I'm just tidying it in place.
Yeah, there are going to be some random babblings apparently today. All right, in order to put a door in the map, we're actually not going to use a static mesh. We already have an animated door, and that animated door is actually set up in such a way that it uses a blueprint to open and close, because in Descent, doors have to do special things, like, for instance, you can bump them to open them or shoot them to open them. So since we've already got that blueprint built, we will just go find our sliding door. Oh, there it is. And there is our door facing the wrong direction. So we slide it up into place. Now you'll notice when you drag a blueprint directly into the map, if it's got attached objects, it just brings them along with it. So those objects are positioned appropriately in the blueprint already so that they can be used as is to create a moving object or an object that does whatever you've already programmed into it with the blueprint. So now that we've got our blueprint of our door in the map, let's go ahead and test it to make sure it works properly. So we do an Alt-P to play in the map. There we are. Now you'll notice that the lighting is very, very rough. You get some really ugly shadows and everything. For one thing, we haven't actually built the lighting, which will change the way that looks. But also, I'm not a lighting artist. I never pretend to be one. I get lights in so that I can test my map, and then the artists come along when they go to make the more finished map, and they'll light it. But we need to check our door by shooting it, and it does indeed work. Oh, and boy, does that swim into the geo. That's not good. Well, let's fix that real quick. All right, get our door. We're going to change our snap to a smaller number, and we are going to slide it back a little in the door frame. That should fix that swimming a little bit. Okay, try that now. Much better. All right, the door is happy. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go over here where there's some nice open space on the other side. We're going to add one more decoration to our map, which is, let's look for the grate. Let's do that one. Spin it around. So this is an object that we use in our maps to indicate to the artist that we want to put something in the map. Whatever it ends up looking like, the artist will choose. And you know what? I have my grid snap wrong. I'm going to place that object again, because it's a lot easier when the grid snap is right. Ah. 1, 2. There we go. And move it over into place. This lets the artist know that we're putting something in the map that we want to be able to shoot through. And that's the important thing here, is that this element will be replaced by something that looks like whatever they want it to, or whatever fits the map's actual final look. But we're telling them, hey guys, make sure that I can shoot through here but can't move through here. And that is actually 180 degrees around because I want it to be flush with the wall. There we go. All right. So what we can do is later on when we put hallways out there, we can wrap it around and let players come through and shoot from behind there. So one other little piece that you might want to put into a map when you're playing with your map building is power-ups. Very essential to a Descent game, of course. So let's show you the power-ups and how they work. Also a blueprint, but we have a thing called the Power-Up Manager, which is used to respawn power-ups that live in the world that are picked up and then used and come back. So it takes care of all of power-up respawning, so we do not just lay down power-ups in the map. Let's go down to our power-ups folder, which should be down here. Pickups. All right, let's put in, well, we'll put in Eric's favorite, the Mega Missile. All right, so we have what's called a missile spawner. We slap it in the map wherever we want it, and get it off the floor. Okay, you'll notice that right now it's got concussion missiles on it. We don't want concussion missiles on there, we want mega missiles. Now, you look over here, anytime you place a blueprint object that has variables that can be set by the user, you will see a set of defaults that appear over here. And we don't change the clear check. That's just making sure that if a power-up spawns, it moves farther away so they don't stack on top of each other. We're going to start it with the Mega Missile. We're going to spawn it on start. If you turn this off, then things will only spawn there when the Power-Up Manager asks them to. In maps where we're playing Capture the Core, we frequently move the Mega Missile around, and we do that by placing multiple spawners, but only having one of them active on start. So then the next time the Mega Missile is used, it will come back on any one of those spawners. In order for it to spawn Mega Missiles, we need to make sure that it can spawn rare power-ups, and that would be this type. And the start count on Mega Missiles, of course, is only 1. There we go. So we now have our Mega Missile spawning in the map and ready to use. Now, there's a different type of spawner for missiles, for gadgets, which includes the laser grid right now, and we'll have your proximity bombs. There's orbs, which includes shield, invulnerability, any of the energy, any of the things that your ship can use to augment itself. Tools, right now there are no tools spawning, but they will eventually be power-ups. And then the weapon spawner, which gives you your laser power-ups, your Vulcan, etc. So that's about all we're doing for today. It's a little quick one today, but ask any questions you have on our forums, and I will be more than willing to answer them in our next episode. So once again, I'm Rob Irving. Thanks for hanging around on Design Underground.